Live from Columbus and Ohio State, this is the 55th NCAA Men's Volleyball Championship with two elite teams and programs pursuing the crown as the UCLA Bruins go for 3 in a row versus the #1 ranked 49ers of Long Beach State. Really good crowd on hand here at the beautiful Covelli Center in Columbus. Long Beach State over Pepperdine 3-1 was not easy, 25-23 in sets 3 and 4. UCLA swept Hawaii, but that was also a battle, and we're set to go. These two teams meeting for the 4th time for the NCAA championship. With my partner, two-time Olympian Kevin Barnett, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so very much for joining us. There are some things in life that are predictable. There are some things even in sports that you kind of know what's going to happen. This match, not so much. What decides it?
Well, what is predictable is the men's game would be decided by service. Long Beach has some peaks. We'll talk about those in terms of individual performers. UCLA, the most consistent around the dial, applying pressure all the time.
Two incredible setters on the UCLA side. 2 times an NCAA champion, 2-time a first-team All-American. For Long Beach State, a unicorn.
Yeah, absolutely. Moni Nikolov, he has aggression from the service line, aggression at the net. 167 kills on the season. He changes the way other teams can put free balls over to the Long Beach side.
For Andrew Rowan for UCLA, 3rd year as a starter, came in as a freshman.
Absolutely, another weapon from the service line. John Hawks wants him to be more aggressive on 2 and on those off plays, a la Nikolov. Watch and see if he does that. He's actually the better setter of the 2. This is a premium feature match at that position. Long Beach State at 29-3, and over on the other side, John Hawks in his first year, just the 3rd head coach for UCLA volleyball, following John Spera, who he was an assistant for from 2015 to 2022, and of course the legendary Al Skates. And on the other side now in his 22nd year, Alan Knipe won the 1991 championship as a player and then went back-to-back in 2018 and 2019 for the Natty. 3 times the National Coach of the Year in the national semifinals for 7 out of the last 8 years. And why not start with Moni at the service line? Give him an extra trip through the service area. Yeah, so important, and UCLA was trying to stay out of a couple different rotations against this serve that cost them dearly during one of the 2 meetings earlier this year. He had 7 aces.
6'10" out of Sofia, Bulgaria, and just out of bounds, and that's an early, very early sigh of relief for the UCLA Bruins.
A lot of focus on getting that kid off of the service line. That is good. Early miss. Long Beach is going to issue a challenge right away.
Challenging a touch off the backcourt receiver. 3 challenges in men's collegiate volleyball throughout the course of the match. If you are correct, you keep all of those 3. Luca Kirchi back there receiving. 2 liberos deployed by John Hawks. Was it head coach at Loyola of Chicago for a couple of years before returning to UCLA.
Couple of keys here for both teams. I think UCLA must pass the ball well versus Nikolov. They're looking for a 2 pass, just high and off, get in the way of it, don't worry about it being perfect, and avoid those certain matchups as row 4 and row 2 when he's out back there hitting from the line. I don't see anything live there. That ball looks high to me.
Yeah, neither do I, Kevin.
And on the other side, I think Long Beach needs to serve in. They had 7 service errors in set 1 against Pepperdine, which they lost. They can kind of dictate. Aces are nice, but the Beach proved they don't need them to win versus the Bruins. They had 9 the first time they met in a 3-1 victory. When Long Beach won again in the following match 3-0, they actually only had 3.
Nikolov went for 5 aces against Pepperdine to go to his current total of 102. Back to the challenge system. You can challenge touch off a blocker or off a defender. Also ball in or out, foot fault on the service line, foot fault on the 3-meter line. And there was ruled a touch. So that is ace number 103. And speaking of 3, that means Alan Knipe and Long Beach State still have all 3 of their challenges.
So does that relief that you described immediately turn to anxiety?
Yes, immediately. It's gone. It's gone. Pull out the Tums. Here comes Nikolov once again. Older brother Alex also played but 1 season at UCLA. National Freshman of the Year, National Player of the Year. And immediately crushed to the floor that time by UCLA. Sean McQuiggan, 6'11" redshirt junior out of Redondo Beach.
Yeah, an emergent season for McQuiggan, and I love that delivery from Rowan because of where it occurred. He's going to set that quick into those gaps and really try and put a lot of stress on a bunch blocking team in Long Beach State.
McQuiggan will go back to serve. Pretty average pass. Nikolov takes a look. That ball sprayed. And that's going to be a net violation called against the Bruins. So a break for Long Beach State. Kevin, these two teams played twice in early February. Both won by Long Beach State 3-0 and 3-1. And the 3-0 was at Pauley Pavilion. What impact, if any?
Only from the service line, because they've seen the service. But there's so many changes for both teams in terms of lineup. I don't think it really impacts this match much.
Skylar Varga, the joust going there. Nice play by Varga in the backcourt, a member of the Canadian national team.
Early mistakes from both, and I'm not surprised. Of course, everyone pretty jacked up, coming off a good warm-up. We'll see who settles in here as we hit about 10 total points.
That is Alex Kondev, made his first start. Speaking of lineup changes, on April 4th, he had 19 kills on 30 swings against Pepperdine. There is Rowan. Perfect first reception. Pretty good block deflection given the play. But Nato Dickinson, 6'7" redshirt senior out of Corona Del Mar, really has been a story. Played very well in the Big West tournament, albeit in a losing effort, but he has really waited for his time, and his time is now.
13 kills all season last year.
Isaiah Pruitt on to serve. Yeah, there is some nerves because that wasn't very good contact. That was Kondev off the left side.
And that's a second key for Long Beach here. Keep an eye on how they play on these clean, easy plays. When they get a good transition, free ball passes, overpass kills, that kind of transition offense, are they clean? Are they lethal in putting the ball away?
6'7" freshman out of Happy Valley, Oregon is Pruitt. UCLA early reception quite good, and that sets up Cameron Thorne, 6'4" junior middle blocker out of Hollywood, Florida, a first-team All-American.
I want to see a ton of Thorne early. That would mean that UCLA's handling.
You want him to be a thorn in their side.
Absolutely. And that would also mean that the offense was diversified, not just going to the pins where they so heavily rely on players like Cooper Robinson.
This is Robinson out of Pacific Palisades, California. First-team All-American and the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Player of the Year. Kondev straight down. Beautifully set up that time by Nikolov.
Part of playing Long Beach is just tolerating these types of plays. It's still only worth one, even though it's going to be airing on highlight reels all across social media. You can make such a highlight tape from this group this year. It's outstanding.
5-3 and also best 3 out of 5 sets for the national championship. UCLA going for number 22. Long Beach State going for number 4. Play off the right side. High flying number 21, Zach Rama out of Phoenix.
Now, a former basketball player who also played volleyball. John Hawk saying, I just saw a kid who could get up really high, had a nice whippy arm, thought he'd be terrific in the gym, and that's proven true. A competitor who rises to these kinds of moments.
Thorne, 2 kills per set, but hitting .534. The only reason he's not in the national ranks, doesn't have enough attempts. Beautiful delivery to Dickinson, and did he get a touch? The first referee, Sergio Gonzalez, is looking around, and good teamwork by the 2 officials. Joe Gustafson is the second referee, and they do call a touch as Kondev goes back to serve. Alan Knipe won a national championship as a player. He's already won a couple. And speaking of a couple, John Hawks has a couple of NCAA tournament wins now, once again in his first year as the Bruins head coach. Quick rhythm to the outside. This is a big story. Sean Kelly, 6'7" freshman out of Manhattan Beach, hit .336, carrying a lot of responsibility.
Both these teams have done such a nice job of reloading their talent. Out of the 14 starters from a year ago, just 6 are the same in this year. 2 for Long Beach. Kelly
might have been the national freshman of the year if it had not been for Moni Nikolov. Had a fantastic year, plays in the receiving position. De'Aris McRaven will go back to serve, 6'5" senior out of Honolulu, hitting .461. Second team All-American this season.
Now, if Long Beach has one big Achilles heel, it is the serving of their middle blockers. They have just 3 aces on the season. These 2 starting middle blockers. Look for UCLA off of their service when it's in to be running some unusual routes and trying to put a ton of pressure on the Long Beach blockers.
There is Kelly, has 13 aces on the year. Well, you made the point. UCLA is a much more balanced serving roster. Perfect pass, and it's 6'10", Nikolov throwing it down.
On one side, John Hawks wants his setter, Rowan, to be less aggressive, or be more aggressive, pardon me, on the other side. It's been a management all year of Moni Nikolov, how much to let him be him and how much to rein him in just a little bit with some guardrails. Alan Knipe said, I let him go for a while, then I just put a little guardrail on either side, but we love what he does.
It's not like Super Mario bouncing around. When my grandson drives Super Mario, it's a mess. Here comes Nikolov. Already has an early ace. Beautifully handled that time by Robinson. Back row combination. And then off speed a little bit. Nice adjustment that time by 6'7" redshirt junior Cooper Robinson, first team All-American this year. Mentioned the player of the year in his conference, and a handful of players with national championship rings.
The more Cooper Robinson can add that vision and the off-speed shot, the court vision, shooting it to the 12'6" high attack over the top, the more effective he's going to be as a pro.
You did say 12 sticks. I did understand that is
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. It's going to be another net violation. This one, and it's got to be nerves right now. There's so much on the line. That was called against Thorne. A little bit of a,
I think it's
collision there with Rowan. Yeah. Andrew Rowan on the outside, wearing number 7 in blue for the Bruins. Varga's got a very live arm as well, and that's ace number 2 for Long Beach State.
Yeah, so much paid to Moni Nikolov in his performance. Second best server on the side is Skylar Varga.
32 aces to his credit. First team All-American, 6'7" redshirt junior out of Munster, Saskatchewan, Canada. And the early timeout called by the UCLA Bruins. Long Beach State opening set here in Columbus, Ohio for the national championship. 49ers on top 10-7.
If your plaques right.
As my partner Kevin Barnett said, serving will decide this national championship, in Long Beach State now within shouting distance of the all-time record holder out of St. Francis in Pennsylvania.
What's truly impressive about those kind of numbers too is coming in tonight, Long Beach State plus 161 on the year when it's service aces issued versus given up. UCLA plus 62.
227 aces to 68 for their opponents for Long Beach State. Varga, well handled, beautifully handled. Oh, what a better block. Isaiah Pruitt says, I got this.
Look at the adjustment here, sliding to the right and then just a little bit of a jump. You always go with it, but it was the initial right-hand step and staying to that side that made that block more effective.
3-0 run for Long Beach State, largest lead of the opening set so far.
And they're cheating, so I might go long distance if I'm Andrew Rowan and I see that. Next set might be long distance to the back row.
And that ball missed just out of bounds. These teams will just tee off at every opportunity.
Now watch UCLA, whenever they get in trouble on their side, they have some reception options on their side. Because of number 21 Zach Rama being an outside hitter for a lot of his career, he will come in to pass quite a bit.
Rowan, his 3rd year as the starting setter. He only knows winning national championships. Beautifully done. Pruitt off to a very good start offensively and defensively for the Beach.
Both teams so clean, hitting plus 500. Long Beach is actually just under 700 at the moment.
Pruitt has not played an awful lot of volleyball. There's been injury issues for Alan Knipe all season long. He's really had to massage his lineup. Only his 21st set on the year, but hit 552. And as you pointed out, not very strong at the serving position.
Unlike women's volleyball, you can't have the libero come in and serve.
Collegiate men play the same rules as internationally, so there's 6 total substitutions. Women's college volleyball, there are 15. That's why you see all the littles at Nebraska and Wisconsin and elsewhere. Back row, quick combination. Balls to the floor before Skylar Varga went over to do a couple of push-ups.
Okay, look, if the USA men are taking some losses to Bulgaria and Canada in the next few years, Alan Knipe is to blame, okay? It's his fault for bringing all these guys in, getting them some solid training, some system training, and moving them along on their career.
I saw Moni Nikolov for the first time. I'll tell you that story after Dickinson goes back to serve.
There's the long distance that time.
Yeah. Oh, and a better block, but just out of bounds. Kondev had it there along with McRaven, but just off the edge. But back to Nikolov. I'm watching the VNL, the Volleyball Nations League last year, And I'm going, who is this kid who's the starting setter for the Bulgarian national team flying around? And it was him. At 17, he was the starting setter.
Yeah, familiar name. You and I covered his dad for years.
Vladimir, the last Olympics that he played in that we covered, Bulgaria finished 4th in London.
Now, I noticed that time McRaven cheated only to a point. He was ready for that long distance set. He didn't go all the way into the left front of UCLA.
There is Kondev, also out of Bulgaria, from Sofia, the #1 scorer at the under-19 World Championships.
See, Rama's in reception there.
That ball was set too tight. That's a good save by Long Beach.
These are the balls you have to put away if you're UCLA or Long Beach in this match.
Quick to the outside and a very nice play. Kelly the recipient, but beautiful set by Rowan.
The game has taken such strides offensively at the collegiate level over the last few years. It is remarkable to see the systems and how quick you've seen both teams get some open net opportunities because of the pace to the left side.
How hard to be a middle blocker today at the highest levels of men's college volleyball.
Yeah, it's a different world than when Tom Hoff was starring for Long Beach State.
Come on, taking a shot at Tom Hoff. How could you?
It's all those free ball overpass kills he owes me.
Nato Dickinson, speaking of taking a shot, he has finally gotten his opportunity, making his 7th start. He had 21 kills at Hawaii, albeit in a losing effort, and had 19 of 33 in the semis against Pepperdine. Unforced error there. Andrew Rowan undersetting that into the middle to McQuiggan.
Yeah, this is the balance for both these setters. When to go for the electric play and when to just kind of throw the ball high and let somebody go up and feast on it against a well-formed block.
Ryan Peluso out of Orlando, Florida, coming on to do some service work for Alan Knipe. If I didn't mention, Coach Knipe now in his 22nd season. Rama off the edge of the block that time, away from Varga.
Yeah, Long Beach is just kind of grounded out here, right? They have given UCLA nothing while taking a couple of points from the service line, a couple of points in transition. This has been a very offensive first set. Lots of times you're hitting 417, you're winning, which is where UCLA is at right now, but they're giving up just under 700, 692 to their opponent. They need to get a couple of touches and turns. It doesn't have to be stuffs.
There's Kelly. Ace serve. Very, very nice spin rate as that one just dips inside the back line.
You'll take those too. Quick points are always good.
You mentioned Long Beach State and their offense, #1 in the nation in kills, #1 in the nation in hitting efficiency at just 1/100th under 400. Kondev, very serviceable pass. Varga over the top of the block, low ceiling here, but no contact. And Nikolov goes right over. Did he go over the top of McQuiggan that time?
No.
Doesn't matter. Or Robinson.
No, a block jump versus an approach jump. The approach has the advantage, and this is what he does. That is up 11 foot plus with a straight jam down.
Well, and is that a pass to an attack on purpose for Kellen Larson, the libero
They
of Long Beach
absolutely
State?
do that on easy opportunities.
Yeah.
You will see them. If a free ball comes over, it will be passed for attack, much like the beach game.
That is, of course, if Nikolov is in the front court and eligible to attack. Had an ace his first time through. 17-14 is the advantage for Long Beach State. 29-3, ranked #1 almost the entirety of the 2025 season. UCLA at 22-6. Kahali Klini on to serve, 6'3" sophomore out of Honolulu. So both coaches going to their benches to serve.
Both employ some capable jump servers who score.
And that ball served just out of bounds. That's a very tough roll. I know you've warmed up and you try to stay ready and you know what your role is, but it's very difficult to come off the bench just maybe semi-warm and put something on the opponent, as John Hawks in his first year once again. Longtime assistant at UCLA, 2015 to 2022. First year as the head coach, which is an interesting story. I'll tell that as we go along. Varga, very good pass. Well covered by UCLA. There's the long string and a better block that time once again. What a good start by #5 in black, Isaiah Pruitt.
Well, and this is going to be a back row attack. You notice Rama's playing middle back there. And on the right side, you have the normally outside hitter Sean Kelly hitting this ball that falls a little bit short. And that's not going to work against a very tall and athletic beach side.
The UCLA forced to call their second and final timeout. 3 challenges for the match. If you're correct, you keep them all to go along with 2 timeouts. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse National Championship game is on Memorial Day, Monday, May 26th at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ESPN at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
Really efficient from Long Beach. I'm impressed, and kind of the match we were expecting, right? A lot of big, high physical attacking from both sides. And Long Beach has cut into the UCLA offensive numbers a bit. Their blocking's been more on point, but I think the setting has been a little too low and fast, particularly on the left. There are situations where you have to slow it down, put it up high. You've got some physical attackers. I would take the opportunity to just throw it up and let them feast.
Mentioned that these 2 teams met twice. That was back on February 7th at Long Beach State. It was 3-1. And then the 49ers, I won't say took the short trip up the 405 freeway, because that one's taken a long time these days. And that was 3-0.
Interestingly enough, match 1, 9-3 Aces advantage for Long Beach State. Second one, 3-1.
And sometimes, Kevin, as you well know, you just look at the set numbers, 3, so that's 6-1 in sets, but a lot of those sets were very, very close. The margin of error was slim. Cooper Robinson wearing number 11. Once again, the Conference Coach of the Year, 2-time NCAA champ. And volleyball runs in his blood. Off the top of the tape, nice cover there by Thorne. Another block, beautifully formed block that time by Long Beach State.
And they are giving the line on that play. They are fine with Sean Kelly hitting line. Look how short they stopped right there. That is 8 feet inside of the pin. Good read, good set by the pin blocker there. Excellent work on the other side by Kando.
Here is Varga again, 20-14. Kirchie with a pretty good pass. That was a very tough angle, and Kendev missing that in the sharp angle from Cooper Robinson.
I really like we've seen both teams cut the ball from the service line. That is an underrated skill. Even internationally, players aren't using it enough. We saw Kelly do it earlier, and now it's Varga. Nearly had an ace there.
And that ball missed out of bounds by the setter, Andrew Rowan. Miles Partain, that's a name from the Beach Olympics in Paris, was the starting setter, and previously the freshman of the year in the MPSF. Stepped away from UCLA. Rowan steps right in, and what does he do? Leads them to a national championship back-to-back years.
Connor Blumen to serve, and that is his signature right there. His whole team claps along.
Excellent first reception. And what a blocking job being done right now by Long Beach State. That is their 4th scoring block already, this time by McRaven.
Yeah, difference in the first set is that, and they are consistently applying pressure to UCLA's offense here. Good read, good position again by the outside pin blocker.
That was Dickinson on the perimeter. It's not like UCLA's in the shank tank. They're in system a bit here, and they're still getting all these blocks. This one's a tough one and very nice combination. Zach Rama wearing number 28, 6'8" junior. A super sub last year, and now a superb starter for John Hawks in UCLA. I was watching the bullpen for Long Beach State. When they stuffed the ball, they almost destroyed the linesman. They got to be a little bit more careful.
I like the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for a national championship, for goodness sake. Here's Robinson, and missed it out of bounds. So serving sub misses it. Cleany missed it out of bounds, and Robinson does. And Long Beach State just 2 points away, and we'll have another serving sub coming on now for the Beach. We've already had one, and now another. Georgi Benev out of Varna, Bulgaria. He will come on and serve.
I'm sensing a pipeline here. Bulgaria
Alex
to Long Beach.
Alex Moni, and then Kandev. That'll get you going. A thorn in your side for Cameron at 6'4" out of Hollywood, Florida. A transfer from GCU.
Ran into his parents this morning. They were already nervous, and that was even before serve and pass. It's tough being the parent in the stands with no control at all.
Ido David, the veteran for UCLA, 6'7" senior out of Israel, 2 times a national champion, will go back to serve. Still Long Beach State just 2 points away from taking the opener. Overpass. McQuiggan lets that one go over to Kelly. Bruins might have missed an opportunity. And they did.
Highlight reel again. It's that kind of confidence that has bled over from Moni Nikolov into the rest of this team.
Kondev will go back to the line. Set point #1 now for Long Beach State. McQuiggan, that ball was set too low, and what you said about Andrew Rowan, absolutely right. He is making some mistakes in his delivery to his attackers. Opening set going to the Long Beach State 49ers, looking for their 4th national championship. 25-17 over the UCLA Bruins. We'll step aside. Second set coming up here on ESPN2, the 55th NCAA Men's National Volleyball Championship. A very convincing opening set win for Long Beach State, 25-17 over UCLA, and the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, it's what Long Beach has been doing, right? Playing well on their own side offensively, but then affecting the UCLA offense with their blocking. A little bit of cheating to one side on the pass here. Good adjustment before and then a good reaction after. And winning some plays at the net. UCLA not setting the ball high enough. And as soon as that ball's not high enough, you are really in trouble against the size that Long Beach has. There, another good pre-positioning by Long Beach in particular.
Well, Alan Knipe was telling us earlier today at Serve and Pass when he was putting this team together with so many new faces, teaching the blocking system, not just stand in front, get over the net and jump, you know, and touch 12'5". Well, we've got to work as a system, and that was on full display for Long Beach State. A couple of aces to go along with 4 scoring blocks, to none in either category for UCLA. Take us over to John Hawk's side.
John Hawk's side, look, set the ball a little bit higher, get in some offensive rhythm, and if you're Andrew Rowan, get out of the speed a little bit in the off plays. Make the basic set to get a few points here. Give your hitters an advantage rather than a disadvantage on delivery.
That ball missed out of bounds, and Kevin, look at this. After UCLA got out to a pretty smooth start, they were 4 of their first 5. They finished 7 of 18 with 6 hitting errors. Now an error, also ball hit out of bounds and blocked, so those 4 stuffs are in there as well.
Yeah, but adjustments like McRaven made, the quick hands over the front, he's been doing a really nice job with that system blocking.
There is McRaven, just underway here in the second for the national championship. Cooper Robinson thought that there was a touch, but it was ruled over the top. But we are going to have our first challenge. We had kind of a challenge and a half. One of the touches was waved off when Long Beach was thinking about challenging, and now very early in this second set, we will have one of 3 challenges. Chosen by UCLA, they're challenging touch on the block.
Tough to tell from that far away. But Paul, I'll tell you what, look at where this game is being played. Look at how high the game is being played at this point. I think there's some moments that have shifted the game. 2004 Brazil internationally, it was the speed of the offense, which you're seeing here at the collegiate level now. 2016, I felt internationally the defense caught up. And really you had a generation of players that had seen that speed as defenders, and they were making much better defensive plays, and the game got better. I think in 2016, college attackers started looking as creative and powerful as those international attackers a few years earlier as a touch is detected. And then I thought a couple of years ago, the college defenders looked like they had really caught up, not only individually but system-wise, to making plays and having longer rallies here at the collegiate level.
Robinson will go back to serve, and he also registers the kill. John Hawks and UCLA will keep their full component of 3 challenges, as that one was upheld. Touch off the top of the block. Can legally touch the ceiling as long as the ball stays on your side of the net. They were looking for a double contact against Varga, but that's the first block for UCLA.
Yeah, that first contact should have been called. That was a scoop and deliver on your own.
A double scoopa.
That'll keep Robinson at the line. Went line last time. I might blast a little bit middle to the right side of Varga this time.
Mentioned that Robinson comes from a volleyball family. His uncle, St. John Smith, his aunt, Patty.
There's a good touch. You got to convert these.
McQuiggan out of the middle. That was a nice slowdown, a speed bump, if you will, at the net from McQuiggan and the UCLA Bruins.
Well, it started with the good serve, but then also the nice play there, playing middle back, scooping and delivering in the right way.
First lead of the night so far for UCLA, very, very early here in the second set. First one by Long Beach State, 25-17. Dominant offensively and at the net blocking. Excellent reception. Varga. Oh, McQuiggan.
And this is part of the plan. They want to work on Varga, give him things to do. That's Rama, left hand by himself. That is a called block. Randy Stoklos style with the big left mitt.
McQuiggan's celebration was so good. He had me sold big time. I was going with the stuff on number 10. Instead, give credit to number 21, Zach Rama. Early timeout called by the beach.
Alan Knipe has sustained excellence at Long Beach State through recruiting and development. Look at the starters here last year to this year. Only two commonalities. Varga switching positions opposite to outside and McRaven in the middle. Otherwise, a complete changeover of the starters. A couple on the roster last year, but newer, bigger roles for a lot of players.
We talked about some changes that Alan Knipe had to make because of injury. Satoris Shipanis out of Cyprus, 6'3", senior transfer from Ohio State. First team All-American last year, and he is unavailable for tonight's competition.
Absolutely, that do-everything player. And that is a costly mistake by UCLA. You had a chance to make a play, and you put the ball out of bounds.
Zach Rama went hard into the boards. He is trying to walk that one off.
And that's the kind of ball, rather than trying to make it perfect when you get there, put that ball high in the middle. Come at it from transition, 10 feet off, 15 feet high. No problem.
UCLA is deploying two liberos, which is a change in the rules. Matthew Aziz is in on defense. And in reception is Luca Curci out of Newport Beach. Here is Nikolov. Now with 103 aces, an all-time record. And has theoretically the record for the fastest serve ever in college volleyball at 84 miles.
No,
not theoretically.
Not theoretically.
Okay.
Listen, all you old guys out there who are going to tell me about some guy back in Europe.
Well, they hadn't invented radar when I was playing.
No. All you old guys just save it, okay? No one hit like that back when you were in college. Don't tell me about Pat Powers. Keep your mouth shut.
And right now UCLA responds with 3 scoring blocks early, and I do mean early for the 6-2 advantage. Has UCLA changed their scheme?
Oh, they're getting some opportunities via their block, right? It was soft touch to turn before. They were slowing the ball down, and they got their offense going a little bit to maintain that run.
Touched out of the middle. Nice play out of the backcourt by McQuiggan, the middle blocker. And shutting that down. That ball again was set too low.
Well, I'm not a fan of the set, period. Look at where the middle blocker is on the Long Beach side. He's already cheated to that side. When you're close enough there, go overhead. You've seen him cheat out to that, your left, their right, a number of times. You have to recognize that and go against the flow.
Kevin, I am pained to admit, given the point you were making previously about the game is played higher, faster, and harder now, but there is no question. You can see it plain as day.
Yeah, full stop. And it has really accelerated over the last couple of years. I'm so impressed by these young men and the way that they play the game. That's how you do it, Tom Hoff, just like that.
Alex Kandev, the 6'7" freshman, and once again made his first start back on April 4th at this position. The lineup has changed with the inclusion of Dickinson as well. Rama looking for a touch and got it immediately.
Yeah, high flat, and that's a function. All the high flat you see in college now And we see it internationally, right? The replay is there. That's why internationally it's so effective, but also the accessibility of the international game via YouTube, anything else, all the video. It has radically changed the education that's possible for those that are young players in the game today.
Barney, got a question for you after this serve by Rama, UCLA leading 7-4, and missed that out of bounds. At the Olympic Games in Paris, we saw it more and more and more, blockers pulling their hands down to avoid the high flat. Is that coming into college as well?
I think eventually, but I don't think you see enough high flat here. For one reason, the replay systems are of wide varying quality, so you can't always count on it, but it's coming.
There is Pruitt, and he misses that just out of bounds. Yeah, right now, look, let's be honest with our fans. The challenge system at the Olympic Games and at the VNL and internationally and in the pro leagues now in the United States is absolutely superb, and college has still got some ground to make up in that area. It's very expensive. Sean Kelly back to serve out of Manhattan Beach, hit .336 so far in his first year as a Bruin. A lot of responsibility as a 6 rotation receiver and attacker. Oh, that's another ball and a missed opportunity for the Bruins.
So look at where we are. It's 8-6, right? We've seen UCLA blow 2 fairly easy opportunities. Let's just assume they convert both, and that's going to be a 4-point swing. You'd be looking at 10-4 right now, and probably the Beach is calling a timeout already.
As the match goes along, the margin will become very, very slim. That is the first referee, Sergio Gonzalez, visiting with Skylar Varga. Honorable mention All-American last year when he averaged 3 kills per set, just about the same number, but hit for a .370 efficiency. 11 of 21 was Varga in the 3-1 victory over Pepperdine in the semifinals. And as a team, Long Beach hit .482. Out of system swing here, out of the back row. Good cover. Rama on the cover. The Bick is there, not timing, not real clean. Nikolov, a rare attack error by Moni Nikolov, the National Player of the Year.
Yeah, getting the ball too low. I think they're just trying to go too fast. Need about a 6-inch to a foot more height on most of the sets on the UCLA side. Rowan's going to get it dialed in eventually here.
Good pass by Kandev, and the block touch is off of McQuiggan and out of bounds. Very nice receive to attack move by Kandev.
UCLA is going to go 4-man receive right away against Kandev.
Well done by Kelly, and McQuiggan, number 10 out of the middle. They don't count on him a lot for offense, so any of that is a nice addition. He does average 1 block per set.
Well, where's it set again, right? He's into that gap. As soon as Rowan gets pushed one way or the other, particularly when he's being pushed to his own left front, he's set a lot of quick.
Long Beach State won the opening set 25-17, led 10-7, and never looked back. Service winner on the ace by Rowan.
You always look at how does a player compete when their team is under pressure. How does that player respond? You love when your setter responds that way. Rowan taking the moment, the only closed chain skill in the game, and making it his own right there. I love this matchup between the setters.
His 33rd ace so far, or 33rd ace so far on the year. The service winner, and that ball just out of bounds. Very, very close. UCLA thinking about challenging.
Now, and Cooper Robinson waving it off. He's declining the challenge that was wanted from his teammates.
Both teams have gone to the challenge card.
And Connor Bloom will come back in. Connor's parents, Lisa and Ryan, flew out, actually. Flew their own plane out. Stopped in Texas on the way here. Planning to stop in Colorado Springs on the way back.
If they weren't going to stop, I'd ask them to jump on. I've been on the road for a while.
Paul's looking for a ride, Lisa.
Yeah, I am. I got into Columbus, Ohio at about 3 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, Connor's been really effective at the line for them, much the way Ido David has been effective for UCLA. We'll see if one of those two players can really get hot and get a 3 or 4 point run for their side in this match.
Robinson now 3 of 6 and attacking with 1 error. Out of system here. Nice reaction by Aziz, and that's got to be blocking the set. explain that violation by Long Beach State.
Yeah, it has to be one of two things, especially the center back row as he is right now, Rowan. So either you have a player on the other side who is over and interfering with the setter's ability to set the ball because it's still on the UCLA side, which it clearly is there, or you would have a back row attack from Rowan if he was reaching over the net to try and bring the ball back.
Yeah, that ball was clearly not yet in the plane. Robinson looking for the ace, and that is just out of bounds. Well left by Kellen Larson, 5'10" freshman out of Irvine, California at the Bro.
And I love the thought process there. Obviously the execution just missed, but he's been serving hard line over and over again, and this time he's cuffing it straight into the angle. Perfect thought process from the line.
Nikolov.
He really hasn't gotten hot aside from that one service winner at the beginning. And he's way off.
That ball again just out of bounds. We don't have the total number of service attempts. It has not been many because he has missed. That's one ace against 3 errors right now for Moni Nikolov.
Yeah, you should change your mind on a challenge here. Alan Knipe was thinking about it.
That ball's way out.
That ball looked to me to be out, further out than it looks right there by that angle. But from our live view, we're on that side. It looked pretty.
Yeah, that does not deserve a challenge. That was way out of bounds, relatively speaking. I mean, we're not talking millimeters. We're talking that ball was out. Pliny back to serve. We saw him in the opening set. Both coaches have gone to their serving subs. That ball missed down the line. UCLA got out to a quick 4-1 lead. Long Beach State called a timeout, and now after the service error, the third-seeded Bruins on top 14-10. Long Beach State, the #1 overall seed and ranked #1 almost all of the season. Varga. Very good out of system set, trying to restart the point. Kelly and throwing down. Good hard work by Long Beach State, but that ball is called down, and number 11 Larson, the young libero, is saying, yep, I didn't get it. That ball was on the floor.
And speaking of changes in the game, that would not have been legal 15-20 years ago. Everyone would have been screaming their heads off about flipping the ball overhead that way. Nowadays, with all the pushes and the jams that go on, everything is fine.
There is Rama. Perfect pass. Rama with a digging opportunity would like to have that one back. The kill by Pruitt.
This is a tough play sometimes when the player, you expect them to really get a hold of it and they only half get a hold of it. You're digging in for kind of that quick reaction and you have a lot more time. You're a little frozen in place as a defender occasionally.
Pruitt now getting a lot of action. 3 kills on 7 swings. What a spectacular stuff block by Kendev on the outside along with McRaven.
See him inside. He'll make a swing block move. That left hand perfectly placed right on the ball, and that's how you do it. If the player hits the ball straight ahead, you got it. If they go angle, your other hand has it.
Back row combination nicely set by Rowan and put away by Robinson. First block of the second set, 5th overall for Long Beach State. Kelly once again back to serve, 13 of 23 in the 3-set-to-none victory over Hawaii. Back row combination again, perfect pass, nicely done that time by Kendev.
One of the adjustments the Long Beach State hitters had to make this year in the fall was just expecting the ball in unexpected situations. So all the hitters on the Long Beach side, no matter where the ball is passed, usually will be on their way because they don't know when that ball is going to get delivered to them. It could come from almost anywhere with Moni Nikolov.
Yenyev on to serve once again. An interesting story Alan Knight talked to us about. He said he compared him to when Magic Johnson first came to the Lakers and maybe Byron Scott or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He's speaking your language right there.
Exactly, running the break, and all of a sudden Magic hits you in the side of the ear. You better be ready. Yeah, Nikolov does love to very uniquely move the ball around.
And that's been part of reining him in, only slightly. Don't make the most difficult, flashiest set every time. maybe just 80% of the time.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. Here goes Ido David. 17-13 is the advantage. UCLA trying to even this championship match up at 1 set apiece. Heavy arm, and maybe a touch. Remember the opening play of this contest, Ido David and John Hawks in UCLA looking for a touch on the receiver.
Oh, they got
one.
Yeah, this is the old carnival duck scenario here where you're shooting guys with targets on them.
You think there's some velocity here? Look how far they are apart, and still you can't get out of the way. Timeout called by the beach.
Now they're 1-1 on that play on that side in consecutive sets. Both teams picking off a passer.
Fourth meeting for the title between UCLA and Long Beach State. The WNBA begins season 29 this Friday. We'll have a pair of games for you on Saturday on ABC, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. The defending champion Liberty host Asia Wilson and the Aces at 1 Eastern. Then Caitlin Clark and the Fever host none other than Angel Reese and the Sky. Very interesting opener for the 29th season of the WNBA. Coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at 12:30 Eastern. Back with two-time Olympian Kevin Barnett. I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so very much for joining us. Fourth meeting for the title. UCLA won the very first championship 56 years ago. I mentioned 55 titles because there was no championship that was eliminated 1 year because of COVID, and then won again last year at Long Beach State in 2024. Long Beach's win was in 2018.
Yeah, you remember that matchup back at Pauley Pavilion?
I do.
A critical fourth set. TJ DeFalco showing his then pro stripes already coming out in college. Took over that match. That UCLA looked like they were on the verge of winning it 1-3-2, and then of course UCLA last season another excellent performance on the heels of their previous year, where they've just been rolling the last two.
And UCLA won the first ever championship in 1970, again over Long Beach State. Won 6 out of the first 7, and has now won a total, I should say, of 21.
I'm trying to remember who the coach was back then.
We'll think of it.
Al something?
Al Skates.
Skates.
What an incredible coach. And when I was a young kid on the USA national team, he used to let me come into the UCLA gym and train with his Bruins, and I've always really appreciated that. We didn't have the same kind of training opportunities the players have now.
Yeah, I had the privilege of working alongside Al after he retired as a color analyst, and me at the play-by-play. Really fun to spend time with Al and see the way that he sees the game. So shout out, Al. I hope your golf game is progressing on the shotgun starts.
High flat. Kondev will track that down. Nikolov rattles through, and Kirchie unable to come up with it for the Bruins.
Yeah, bad bounce for UCLA right there. That one of those doubles where it kind of nicks off the back of the block.
Yeah, just Nikolov's presence changes everything what Long Beach does in transition when they get a ball up because of Nikolov's presence.
That'll be donuts in the morning. That serve, pardon me, that toss was way too far. Yeah, the UCLA bench knows it. Look, they're giving the O sign here. They're not cheering for Oregon over there on the bench.
That was never quite right.
That
was a false.
Immediately in the upper left. That is not for the Ducks. That is for donuts.
That was a
Krispy Kreme.
That was a false start that got worse. Wonderful save that time at the setting position by Nikolov.
Long Beach is definitely within reach.
Oh yeah, this is by no means comfortable. The opening set, you could say, was pretty comfortable for McRaven and the Beach, but this is far from that. Easy serve.
And there's where it comes in.
Wow.
So they miss it, but that's UCLA on the easy serve, going double quick. Rama inside there on the quick. They were running a 1-3. It's the right play. They just barely missed it.
UCLA only hitting .205, and they've got 9 errors on 39 swings.
They get creative again. Same thing.
Robinson, big swing off that time of Pruitt, along with Varga.
And I like that ball. It's a little bit higher. Just a little bit more time for the hitter to get up there and swing. When you have physical hitters like Cooper Robinson, it's okay if the block is there. It's not a problem. It becomes more of a problem if the ball is low. Then you put your hitter at a disadvantage.
Well, especially when you have this kind of length and high flyers. Down the line and off the edge of the block. That's a nice swing. That got a piece of Kelly on the way by, number 12 in blue for UCLA. Much needed side out score, 2018. And Moni Nikolov is going back to the line. Has not gotten on a roll, and the pressure squarely on UCLA right now.
Well, here's the moment, right? If you are who we think you are, this is the time. He is that guy.
Ace number 104 for Nikolov. Does UCLA take a timeout here? Try to freeze him?
Yes, they do. You were on it. John Hawk's already hitting the button.
UCLA thought they had a comfortable lead. Well, think once again, the Beach and Nikolov were on a roll.
The United Football League is...
You might wonder what makes Moni Nikolov special from the service line. A lot of it is his contact point along with the velocity. Think of a right-hand lead in boxing. It is a millisecond quicker than coming from back behind your body. Same thing here. The way that he drives the ball, it doesn't have a ton of arc and spin to it all the time. That millisecond difference puts even more pressure on the receivers here. So it's the angle along with velocity that has the problem for the opponent and results in that many aces.
As much as 84 miles an hour. Got a piece in the back court, and we're tied. Third ace of the night from Moni Nikolov, the National Player of the Year. He had 5 in the semifinals against Pepperdine. Another timeout called by the Bruins. And when we spoke with first-year head coach John Hawks, we said usually you talk about hitter-blocker matchups, but what is your best receiving lineup, and is that where you want to get? And he said we don't want to be in row 2, we don't want to be in row 4. That's the setter in the middle back, the setter in the left front.
So we mentioned all the changes from the first 2 times these teams played, right? One thing remains the same. Moni Nikolov from the line. That first match, Long Beach had 9 aces. And you might think, oh, okay, 3 here, 2 there. No. 7 for this young man. 2 for the rest of the roster.
Got a timeout here at the Covelli Center in Columbus, Ohio. The year's second major is on ESPN. The 107th PGA Championship at Quail Hollow begins Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Our first round coverage actually starts at 7 a.m. Eastern. ESPN Plus with our ESPN Bet telecast at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And speaking of golf, I just got a text from the one and only Al Skates. He said, listen to this, St. John isn't giving me any strokes on Fridays anymore, so my golf game must be getting better. That from Al Skates.
That would be the legendary St. John Smith. Of course, an excellent career at UCLA before moving on to be king of the beach forever and a day. His son Hagen qualifying for the AVP League this year. One-time star for UCLA when they were kind of rising under John Spratt, playing a true 6'2" alongside now Olympian Micah Ma'a.
Al Skates got things started at UCLA, won the first ever national championship, won 6 out of the first 7 and 19 in total.
If I'm Moni Nikolov, I'm cutting it right now. I just backed you up with 2. There's a lot of space out in front right here in 4 and 5. I'm cutting the ball.
Off the top of the tape, so well slowed, and McQuiggan, what an important side out and a break for the Bruins as that serve got a piece of the equipment.
Now what a different set this would be, right? If UCLA had taken advantage of a couple of those early points where they mishandled easy opportunities. We're talking about 3 balls. That's a 6-point swing. Now it's just a 1-point lead for the Bruins.
Very easy serve, taken overhand, right on target. Back row, quick combination. Kondev with a reception and with a kill.
And another nice choice from Nikolov as he checks down, looks, and the young Kelly checking out. That's a young blocker. It's the toughest skill every time you change levels to learn.
One blocker up is not enough against that. Good pass by Robinson. To the right side, Zach Rama comes through with a big swing.
And second time it's been apparent how much higher the ball is delivered to the right side. That is a wonderful adjustment in Rowan, who was off early. He's back on. Perfect connection.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Kevin. He was not at his best, and our sample size is pretty good. We've seen a lot of Andrew Rowan, particularly against the best competition. And he, as you say, has adjusted very nicely. Here's Rama. And that ball is served out of bounds. Back and forth, tied at 22. Got a win by 2, playing to 25. Opening set to Long Beach State, 25-17. Handled by Robinson, back row to Rama again, and he sprays it long. Tenth hitting error on 43 swings for UCLA. That is a lot. Kelly trying to push. Left side, off the block and out of bounds by the beach.
I think early in the season, Moni Nikolov might have attacked this ball that came over as a free ball off that block play there. Instead, he delivers it to his hitter. Smart opportunity results in now a set point and a chance at a 2-0 lead.
Look at Kondev, 8 of 9 right now, hitting 778 after being wonderful in the semifinals as well. Set point number 1. Robinson says not yet. 1 set point saved, 1 still to come.
Yeah, if I'm UCLA, I'm about to streak Cooper Robinson. There have been some debates about, do you feed the hot hand? Does Andrew Rowan rely on one player a little too much here and there? Now's the time. You give it to number 11. If they get a transition ball, who cares? Everyone in the gym knows where it's going. Give it to your guy.
And Rama is struggling, only 6 of 15 with 3 errors.
Don't get cute with it.
Overpass. Oh, what a save by Nikolov. He is a unicorn.
We sometimes have the pleasure of seeing already internationally ready players at the collegiate level. Moni Nikolov, following his brother, is exactly that. They are both proven themselves to be pros who are still in college. Long Beach State looking to end the three-peat and maybe start their own back-to-back national championship run once again. They're up 2-0.
Let's now take a look at the Capital One Cup standings for both men's and women's as teams compete for a combined $500,000 in student-athlete scholarships from Capital One. Ohio State, the Buckeyes, they win the national championship in football. Not too far away, Florida. The Gators win the national championship in basketball. Penn State wins it in volleyball. UConn in women's basketball. And Stanford just found out they won women's water polo just yesterday. So they're your top 5 for each the men and women in the Capital One Cup standings.
Yeah, nice performance by Penn State, of course, on the women's side in the fall. I always like hearing about men's and women's teams supporting each other, watching the matches. The Belmont Bruins are tuning in Nashville, Tennessee today, enjoying this men's final. Need more crossover between the two teams in this sport.
Back with Kevin Barnett, my partner, 2-time Olympian, I'm Paul Sunderland, and all right now, UCLA in dire straits, led 17-14. They had smoothed things out. Rowan was much, much better, and then they give up a 12-6 back half of that second set. Much of it done by this young man, Moni Nikolov. Long Beach State up 2-0, where they are 25-0 when winning the first couple of sets. Just out of bounds by Nikolov. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the 55th Men's Volleyball NCAA Championship from the Covelli Center on the campus of Ohio State University. Long Beach State 29-3, the number 1 seed. UCLA the number 3 seed at 22-6.
This is a good test for UCLA. How well do they shake off that last set that they gave away?
That's a tough one. That's a really good question. What will you look for from UCLA's side?
How crisp are they on offense, and are they able to take advantage of those little plays that cost them dearly in the second? John Hawks knows that second set was given away by those little plays mid to late set.
We'll give you the offensive numbers. That ball off the top of the tape by Varga right now. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, so you have to have some margin to withstand a run by Moni Nikolov, which you knew was coming, right? He's been missing, only had that one ace, but you have to believe you're going to give up a couple at some point. Without the margin, you're vulnerable.
Your worst nightmare. You're tied in the red zone, and Nikolov goes back to serve. Offensive numbers hugely in the favor of Nikolov. That ball's out of bounds. Big block, but Long Beach State before that swing and the kill by Kondev hitting 486 compared to just 239 for UCLA. And Long Beach State hot on the weekend here in Columbus hit 482 against Pepperdine in a very tightly contested semifinal. Pruitt back for the beach. Block touch nicely done by Dickinson, who's been fairly quiet until now against a three-man Bruin block. Nato Dickinson with the kill. Pruitt again, just underway here in the third. Working on Kelly, back row combination, and that ball just over Pruitt and inside the sideline. Another kill for Cooper Robinson, the 6'7" redshirt junior out of Pacific Palisades. Of course, the Pacific Palisades not only making national news, but news worldwide. Horrific fire, and the Robinson family lost their home.
A couple of players affected. Spencer Graves as well, losing his home, his family home, where the Bruins had been having a nice team dinner just a month before. As another highlight reel kill gets dished out by Long Beach State.
Long Beach State leads the nation in attack efficiency. That is kills minus errors divided by attempts at just under 400. And they're hitting 500 against the Bruins so far. Roofed again, but look out. The building went silent. Moni Nikolov came down, and he's walking that one off.
Yeah, a little contact under the net here, I think, off this play. I think players banging knees. Watch as they land, their knees will flex maybe together, or just into the foot of Moni Nikolov. That is where bad things happen, is under the net. But again, that ball a little too low.
10 kills now for Kondev. Oh, he missed it out of bounds. Got a little bit greedy. Did number 12 in black, the 6'7" freshman out of Sofia, Bulgaria. He was the #1 scorer in the under-19 World Championships.
Exact same point in the set where UCLA missed an easy one. Will that play later for Long Beach?
Kondev and Nikolov playing together for Bulgaria in those youth tournaments, under-19, under-21. Remember that Moni Nikolov, the starting setter for the Bulgarian senior national team when he was 17 years of age. He only turned 18 in November.
Yeah, it's wild to think of where he's at this point in his life. Someone overseas is going to throw a truckload of money at him. They're going to back it up. You're going to hear it beeping, and then it'll just be a dump of cash coming out in multiple suitcases, looking to pry him out of Long Beach State.
Older brother Alex also starring in Italy professionally and for the Bulgarian national team. Was National Freshman of the Year, National Player of the Year as well.
Right, went on to play for Lube, and actually Alan Knipe saying that in retrospect, Alex wishes he'd spent a little more time in this environment, because he ended up on a team with true professionals, wives, children, bills to pay. A little bit different than being 19 years old and already embarking into that environment.
Well, many of the European athletes and from South America, I'll finish the point after this play. That's a tight pass and the push there. Kelly stepping in outside to Robinson. Oh, McRaven would like to have that one back, but to finish the point, Kevin, and you know, you played professionally overseas, and I did not. But, you know, the players from South America, from Asia, from Europe, they come and experience the collegiate culture in the United States, and it's very welcoming and very unique, particularly if you're successful. Varga. Hard into the cross court, number 4 in black.
I'd like to see UCLA, if you're a fan of the Bruins, come up with a couple more opportunities to transition. They are just not digging a lot of balls here. Looking at the dig numbers, just 6 for UCLA.
Well, 500, there aren't many opportunities. They're 28 of 42.
There's the cut.
Ace serve! How do you do?
Back them up, cut them short. This is exactly what you do. This is a professional level cut too. That thing cleared the net by just a couple of inches.
Nikolov now with his 3rd ace and yellow card. Once again, they almost decapitated one of the linesmen. So Alan Knipe will have to corral his troops along the sideline now, tying the record as a team.
They're getting rid of a lot of rules in volleyball out of the protocol. Let's get rid of that one too.
Well, a lot of times you don't even have linesmen anymore, and the same goes for tennis. It's all done electronically.
I'm talking about the card on the bench.
I got you.
Let's get rid of that.
I got you.
I saw some highlight this year where some kid got a big play, big ace or something, as that ball goes back over.
Varga off of Nikolov.
I love the bench mob getting into it. I love the support for teammates. I saw a highlight where a kid ran up the stairs at the end of the gym. He just left. It wasn't even his play. He just took off after a big play for his side. And the bench mob for Long Beach is going to be pumped about this run.
Timeout called by the UCLA Bruins, trying to cool off the beach. And Moni Nikolov, I'm not sure that's possible. Very rarefied air. KD, Anthony Davis, Johnny Manziel, Jameis Winston, Zion Williamson, the wonderful Paige Becker starting her professional career, Alex and Moni Nikolov, and then most recently Cooper Flagg this past year for Duke.
You know, little brothers love getting up on big brothers, so this is an even thing here, right? What would the national championship be? That'd be advantage, Moni.
Alex Nikolov, in his only year at Long Beach State, lost in the championship match in 2022 to the University of Hawaii. Right side to Robinson, good block deflection. Right side again and deflected again. Nicely done by Pruitt out of the middle. Smart off speed by Varga.
You got to have some credit for Pruitt again. Look at him just going towards the play there. Didn't make the play on the first one, but the second one, again, it's him just going towards it, making the effort that created this play here that finishes the rally.
UCLA in trouble now. Lost the opening set 25-17. And then we're on top 17-14 before giving up a 12-6 back half. Down 2-0. Ooh, indeed. Dickinson thought he had one-on-one. Remember, this is a completely rebuilt Long Beach State team. Only Varga, along with McRaven, back from last year, playing big roles. Dickinson was there. He waited his time and now got the opportunity. Very nice pass by Larson, the libero. Wigan, yeah, with a scoring block.
Hey, compliments to the fans of men's volleyball for showing up, for traveling. Both teams traveling well, but a lot of folks who aren't wearing one gear or the other showing up for this match in the Covelli Center. Really an outstanding venue for volleyball. The ceiling height, the size, the layout. Fantastic finish to the men's season in 2025.
Both Ohio State men's and women's teams play in the Covelli Center. Also used for a couple of other sports. Wrestling among them. That ball missed out of bounds. A very rare hitting error that time by Pruitt, number 5 in black.
So here's where I'd keep the pressure on. UCLA's been missing a fair amount of serves. I would make sure that I serve to a spot right about now. I'm not looking for a clean ace. I know it's Cooper at the line. I know he's capable of aces, but I'm looking to make Long Beach play because you've been winning a couple of points. You need this to tie at this point.
11-9 timeout is called. The Stanley Cup playoffs, the second round continues tomorrow night on ESPN. The Jets versus the Stars, game 4 at 8 Eastern with Dallas up 2-1. Coverage begins with the point at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. The road to the Stanley Cup rolls on. A fantastic time of year, both the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup. And the men's NCAA volleyball championships with Kevin Barnett, two-time Olympian. I'm Paul Sunderland, and Long Beach State looking to win their third championship. Make it their fourth, excuse me. Alan Knipe won in 1991, and then back-to-back in 2018 and 2019. UCLA has won 22 recent championships. And then there's a theme to it, Kevin. We were checking our notes and dotting our I's. There's a back-to-back situation. Irvine in 12-13, Loyola of Chicago 14-15, Ohio State 16-17. There is a theme here. I'll get to the end, but the list is long. Long Beach State 18-19, Hawaii 21-22. No COVID after in 23, and then after that, and then UCLA 23 and 24.
Should we just congratulate Long Beach if they were to close out this set and win at 25? Just give them the 26 trophy also? Have we gone enough time here of this consecutive back-to-back?
There is something in the water here.
2011, last time somebody won one in a row, and that was Ohio State.
Yeah, it's very, very unique indeed, as competitive as this sport is. Big serve, pretty well handled given the velocity. Varga, nice restart to the point. Nikolov out of the back row and scores it. That's from about the 13-foot mark.
From anywhere, anytime, with supreme confidence. This young man continues to impress. There isn't another setter in the country who's just going to take a back row swing like that.
Right side, nobody out. Look out there, Kondev got one. Beautiful delivery. An outstanding reception to get in system for UCLA.
Yeah, credit Andrew Rowan there for setting up that mismatch with the block. Excellent delivery.
Long Beach State still out hitting UCLA by a wide margin, almost by 200 points in efficiency. Stuff block. 3 Bruins up.
And they're keeping Long Beach off balance. They're not getting aces, but they are keeping them well off the net and allowing their block to do some work. You don't have to serve aces to win on either side, and UCLA right now keep the pressure on, keep the ball in.
Dickinson, he missed that out of bounds. He's had a hot hand, but they did call it in. That looked like it was wide. Give that kill to Dickinson, wearing number 18 in black out of Corona Del Mar. Brother Clayton plays at USC. You mentioned it, Kevin, but it bears repeating because his role has expanded so significantly. 13 kills all of last year. He had 19 in the semifinals alone.
Connor Bloom back on.
Excellent reception, but rejected. Kondev high into the night.
And after this big play, what does the Long Beach bench do? Well, you're not allowed to run out on the floor after this massive throwdown from 11 feet. So they ran up the tunnel, every one of them, to a man.
The linesman is now safe, I think. Back row, a little bit of an early whistle there. We might have a challenge that ball was up. You can't challenge ball up or down. Challenge in or out, net touch or touch off the block.
And if you're UCLA and it is determined that ball is up, you're going to be bummed because that ball was played out of bounds regardless of the whistle. Had the whistle not been blown, it would have been a Bruin point.
Looking for a premature whistle here as Long Beach was fighting to keep that ball off the floor. These two teams played in February. Both of those matches were won by Long Beach State. 3-1 at home, 3-0 at legendary Pauley Pavilion. John Hawks, just the third coach in UCLA Bruin volleyball history, following John Speraw, now the president and CEO of USA Volleyball. He's here somewhere. He didn't come down and say hello.
I'm glad we can't find him.
My feelings are hurt.
Good for the game that we can't find him.
Yeah, and Al Skates, of course, 19 championships. Here's the previous play. Varga's arguing that I think that ball went off his foot, which is a legal play. Knipe seems to be satisfied with the call and the explanation, so Zach Rama will go back to serve. Mentioned John Spera. He resigned from UCLA somewhat surprisingly to take the USA job on the 25th of September. And John Hawks was the UCLA coach by the 1st of October. And that ball out of bounds.
Zach Rama is off. That's hurting UCLA right now. He's off from the service line. He's off in attacking. He's hitting just 222, but it has gone away sharply here over the last set and a half. You'd like him to come back, but at what point do you just need to feed the ball elsewhere?
Dickinson again, and Kevin, you pointed it out right before first serve. What's going to decide this? Serving. So far, advantage Long Beach.
If I'm Long Beach, I'm cheating away from Rama, because you're pretty well handling him.
Look at that delivery. Good recycle. Bodies flying, and Nikolov flying as well, and ends up on what will be a very thick wallet.
It's where it's a little bit too much, because he's way late to this play. Way late. And kudos to the UCLA block for being aware of this possibility. They know it. They've scouted it, but he is way late to that. Make a different choice, young man. But I love what you're doing. You can't have the spectacular plays without that occasion. So by all means, stay aggressive.
Very good read by the UCLA Bruins, trailing 2-0 and 15-13. Sean Kelly once again back at the line, 13 of 23 against Hawaii in the semis. Varga's been rock solid. Combination play. Kondev coming inside.
The X1 has come back this year.
Explain, X1.
League wide. Well, the X1 is just the go ball to the outside, a little bit inside, where a 3 would traditionally be, but a little bit higher. Watch the delivery here. It'll be deliberately short, and the hitter knows it's going to be short. The block does not. And I love that that's emerged. Dylan Klein had an all-time highlight this year for USC when he's out in Hawaii.
UCLA passing pretty well, but better blocking by Skylar Varga and enjoying every bit of it.
This is what lack of a true D-ball does for you. Is there they go. They're gone. They're gone again. Bye, everybody. When you don't have a D-ball, look how far Varga's tucked in. He's standing inside of what would be a basketball center circle. They don't care about the D. Go ahead and set it, UCLA.
Yenyev coming on, putting a lot of pressure still on UCLA, but handled pretty well. Beautiful dig that time by Larson, the libero. And that's going to be for contact. So Nikolov comes up empty in his last 2 swings.
Also, no other team deliberately tries to set their setter in transition, which is what just went on there.
Not only in college volleyball, but virtually anywhere in the world of the game. He might be the best 18-year-old volleyball player on the planet.
Now, for all the good plays that UCLA has made in this 3rd set, they're still trailing by 3.
Yes.
They still have a ton of work to do here.
Yep, exactly right. Kahalakina Heine on to serve. Varga again, really good passing numbers. Back to Dickinson, who missed it out of bounds. The only player in his late teens that I can remember having this kind of impact was Wilfredo Leon when he was playing for Cuba. Best server in the world, best server in the world championships when he was 17 years old.
And by the way, best server in the world when he powered his team to the gold medal match against France this last summer, and unfortunately ripped it up against the USA in Paris.
Poland winning 2 world championships in 14 and 18.
Foot fault.
Yeah, foot fault there. And it is a 3-point lead, and Long Beach State looking for the 3-0 sweep over UCLA for their 4th ever national championship. Ryan Peluso, backup setter and opposite out of Orlando, on to serve. 6 substitutions allowed in men's college volleyball, the same is internationally. Perfect pass in system. Better block.
I think a lot of people knew the service pressure that Long Beach could apply from a couple of positions. I've been super impressed with their block in this match. Their scheme against UCLA has worked to perfection.
Timeout called by Long Beach State, and what a job by Alan Knipe and his staff to scout for this match for the championship. The 55th Men's NCAA Volleyball Championship, and right now all #1 Long Beach State 25-17, 25-23. Back with Kevin Barnett, two-time Olympian. Where does UCLA go, and how does Long Beach State not get ahead of themselves?
All right, UCLA has to serve the ball in, make Long Beach play, and for Long Beach, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep making good reads, adjustments at the net. I love that they're bunching to that right side of their block, left side attack from Long Beach, left side attack of UCLA. Forcing UCLA to do something different offensively where they don't have a lot of answers at the moment.
And oftentimes the big attack, in other words, the back row quick on top of the first very difficult to defend. UCLA's done an excellent job.
Oh, look at the block there. Who was committing? It was Varga committing on the middle. They have abandoned blocking on the right at all.
That's scheming. Alan Knipe was talking to us about it and just working together to build this team. Remember, only 2 players back from last year of any notable except for Dickinson, who's back in the lineup.
Yeah, very defensive set here. You see as both teams struggling offensively, but this is Long Beach saying, we dare you to set the right side. We're going to tuck in and give it away, and still they're close to winning the point.
19-16, pressure on UCLA. Tight pass. And the Bruin attackers hesitant because of Nikolov's presence. Not good ball handling by the Bruins. And it's going to cost the Bruins a point in Cooper Robinson.
Paul, you were asking earlier about pulling hands.
Yeah.
A player beyond his years in knowledge just did. Right there, Moni Nikolov pulled his hands down, and there was no resistance met for Cooper Robinson pushing the ball in, who expected to hit Moni Nikolov across the net. Instead, he goes right follow through to the top of the tape.
Well, he's played more than anybody in this semifinal or championship round internationally. Red zone, and that ball missed out of bounds, but still the separation is 3, 20-17 Long Beach State. 25-17, 25-23.
What's really funny about this moment is normally you have a setter go to the back row and you say, all right, they have a fresh set of 3 hitters in the front row. It's a good rotation for him. I think actually when he goes to the back row, it's bad for him.
Yeah, I agree.
You want to keep him up there.
Yeah, I agree.
He has changed the game. That ball missed out of bounds. To your point, Kevin, about UCLA making Long Beach State play. UCLA looking to become the first team since 82, 83, 84 to win this championship 3 times in a row, and that accomplishment is certainly in jeopardy. Long Beach State once again won back in 2019 over Hawaii, 3-1, and then 2018 beat UCLA 3-2 at Pauley Pavilion.
Yeah, if challenges, you better use them here.
No.
From John Hawks, that one's not even close, but you do get kind of a timeout before you get to talk to your team at this critical moment facing elimination.
So UCLA is going to be down to 1 challenge. Excellent job by the officials so far on the evening. Sergio Gonzalez and Joe Gustafson. Yep, no question about that. That is now 21-17. Moni trying to do something that Alex could not. National Freshman of the Year, National Player of the Year, but Alex, his predecessor and older brother, did not win a national championship, and Long Beach State just 4 points away. Varga, to me, Kevin, has been so good in reception. He's also been good at the service line. A very good compliment to Moni Nikolov.
Yeah, and yet only 5 kills. Can end up doing the majority of the damage. Yeah. 11 hitting .533, but Nikolov has done a good job of distributing the ball around. We've seen so many highlight kills in this one. If they close the set, they're going to treasure the film forever at the beach.
Ido David out of Israel, 2 times the national champion, on to serve. He scored previously from the line, and he will again. Legally played by Long Beach State. They're trying to get the troops back into the mix. Yeah, no question. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yes, that's a scoop. That is a lift.
It was the double,
even in today's game.
The double scooper, and I like the caveat, Kevin. Even in today's game. That play not allowable in women's college volleyball. It's a different interpretation of the rule.
It should be allowable.
It should.
In college volleyball. I love the adjustment here as Nikolov was running back from being off the court on the other side. He then just settled into the left back instead of going to the right back. so he's in a position to make a play.
Nicely done by Ido David. And just to finish the thought, in women's college volleyball, the reason they cannot make that similar play is in their judgment ruled for player safety. Timeout called, 21-19. And go back to the second set. UCLA led 17-14, but then got outscored 12-6 down the stretch to lose at 25-23. So there certainly is all kinds of time. The WNBA begins their 29th season coming up this Friday, and we'll have a pair of games for you on Saturday on ABC, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. The defending champion Liberty hosts Asia Wilson and the Aces at 1 Eastern. Then Caitlin Clark and the Fever host Angel Reese and the Sky. Coverage begins with WNBA Countdown at 12:30 Eastern Time. Back with two-time Olympian Kevin Barnett. Paul Sunderland had a chance to cover Asia when she was at South Carolina, and we had her in Las Vegas. I saw Asia just the other day, and I went on Amazon, or excuse me, on Google, and looked up her resume. Scary. Two-time Olympic champion, MVP of the Olympics, 6-time All-Star, 2-time WNBA champion. You can see Asia Wilson coming up on day one. 21-19. Take us over to UCLA's side. Kevin coming out of the timeout.
Serve the ball in. Look for a touch to transition. Look to just slow it down. Make a good move in front of the hitter. Don't worry about super pressing and reaching and maybe netting. Don't reach high. Good disciplined move and do a little work with your defense, front row and back row. David's got to manage this here. He's a veteran presence.
Manage that. Must have for UCLA, coming right side. Dug by Larson, the libero. And Kondev is roofed into the cross court by Cameron Thorne. Big play by the Bruins. What a bomb by Ido David to get ahead in the point.
Absolutely straight down that line. And a challenge is going to be called by Long Beach State. I think this is more of a timeout. I don't know if they actually believe the ball was in or out. I think they're just trying to ice David again off of that big serve he hit out of the actual timeout.
Oh yeah, that ball is in.
Clearly.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin.
And I like this. I like a little strategy.
I do too.
Game. I'm good with it. If you're going to give him challenges, great. If I'm a coach, I'm going to use him to slow things down a little bit.
7th scoring block for UCLA on the other side. 10 for Long Beach State. There's Alan Knipe, concluding his 22nd year at his alma mater. A 1991 champion as a player.
All right, line last time. There's a lot of open court here for a cut, too. If you got a cut, put it right to the middle of the court.
Well handled by Varga. Dickinson able to tuck the ball down inside.
Now, if you're Cameron Thorne, you want that one back. The read was right. He got there in time, just a little far off the net. He did everything right, except for getting his body turned in time.
Pruitt, middle blocker out of Happy Valley, Oregon, has been struggling at the service line. And I mean struggling big time. That was pretty effective, well handled. Oh, the push nicely done by Kondev, and Vargas stepping in with a nice bump set.
Kondev making a pretty good case for player of the match.
Long Beach State 2 points away. Kondev now with 11 kills on 16 swings. That was a very good serve by Pruitt, just on time. Thorne with a crush.
You have to have 2 right now if you're UCLA. And bad news for them, Rama goes to the back row. I'm going to push. If I'm the block left front right now, I am going to push over in transition against UCLA and just commit on the middle.
Well handled by the libero Larson. Good cover that time by Rowan. Long Beach State going crazy on the sideline. They wanted a call in the middle of that rally. Aziz keeping the ball off the floor. Kondev can do for Long Beach State. Championship point for the Beach. Nato Dickinson, who waited years for this opportunity. Where could he play? Could play very well at the opposite indeed because of a couple of injuries, making the most of it, closing out his career. Overpass. Why not? Nikolov started it with an ace and finishes it with a kill.
Tip to tail, maybe the best match of the year for Long Beach State. Be at your best when your best is required. A UCLA saying from the Wizard of Westwood, but applied here by Alan Knipe, his staff, and his team as they take home a championship hardware in convincing fashion.
4th overall, 3rd for Coach Knipe, won as a player in 1991. And Moni Nikolov is the unicorn at 6'10". He had 4 aces on the night, and just a superb performance by the young man out of Bulgaria. Just turned 18. A look at championship point once again. Dickinson, why not? You bide your time, you wait for your opportunity, and number 18 serves it up on a platter to Moni Nikolov for the Beach and a championship. There was some energy, no doubt about it, on the sideline for Long Beach State. They win it 3-0. Let's go over to Kevin Barnett.